Bangladesh's history is defined by student activism. Time and again, it's the youth who have stepped forward to shape the nation's destiny. Students have always been at the heart of political change, their energy and idealism fueling movements that have altered the course of history. In the 1950s, it was students who led the language movement, demanding Bangla be recognized as a national language, planting the seeds for independence and inspiring generations to come. This spirit of resistance became part of the national identity, with students seen as the conscience of the country, always ready to stand up for justice and equality. In the 1980s, student unions were the backbone of resistance against military rule, helping restore democracy and proving that organized youth could challenge even the most powerful regimes. Today's student protests are not isolated. They're the latest chapter in a long tradition, echoing the courage and determination of those who came before. When students mobilize, it's a signal that the nation's core values are at stake, and their collective voice can spark conversations across every level of society. Their activism gives movements unique legitimacy. When students speak, the country listens, and their demands often become the rallying cry for broader social change. This legacy empowers youth to challenge corruption, authoritarianism, and injustice, inspiring hope and courage in others to join the fight for a better future. But it's also a heavy burden. Students often face risks, sacrifices, and uncertainty as they take on the responsibility of leading change. The recent unrest is built on this foundation. Students see themselves as heirs to a powerful legacy, drawing strength from the victories and struggles of the past. That's why campus protests can quickly become nationwide movements capable of shaking governments and demanding accountability from those in power. In Bangladesh, student protest isn't just dissent. It's a ritual, a reawakening of the nation's most potent force, and a reminder that the spirit of change lives on in every new generation. The spark? Government job quotas. What began as a technical policy meant to ensure representation soon became a flashpoint for frustration and anger. In a country with millions of educated, unemployed youth, quotas reserving jobs for certain groups felt unfair and outdated. For many, it seemed like their hard work and dreams were being dismissed by a system that refused to change. Students demanded a merit-based system, but peaceful protests were met with brutal force. The government's response only deepened the sense of injustice. Tear gas and rubber bullets turned a policy dispute into a fight for justice and dignity. The streets of Dhaka became a battleground for the future of the nation's youth. Images of injured students spread, fueling outrage and drawing more people into the streets. Social media amplified every moment, making it impossible to ignore. The movement exploded, shifting from job reform to calls for the Prime Minister's resignation. What started as a demand for fairness became a nationwide outcry for accountability. The government's crackdown validated fears that the system was hostile to youth. Every arrest and act of intimidation only strengthened the protesters' resolve. Even after quotas were scrapped, trust was shattered. The wounds left by violence and betrayal would not heal overnight. Students no longer wanted reform, they wanted real change. Their movement had grown beyond jobs, demanding a new vision for Bangladesh's future. By August 2024, mass protests forced Sheikh Hasina to flee, proving student anger can shake a nation. The world watched as Bangladesh's youth made history. A government's refusal to listen can turn a single issue into a revolution. When leaders ignore the voices of the young, the consequences can be seismic. In Bangladesh, ignoring student voices is a recipe for upheaval. The lesson is clear: change cannot be delayed forever. The fight over jobs became a fight for the nation's soul, a struggle that will shape Bangladesh for generations to come. In Bangladesh, a single word can freeze the nation: hartal. When this word is declared, the entire country seems to hold its breath, as if time itself has stopped. A hartal is more than a protest. It's a total shutdown, a collective pause that sweeps through every city and village, leaving streets eerily silent. Roads are blocked, shops are shuttered, and daily life grinds to a halt. Even the busiest intersections become deserted, echoing with absence. For millions of daily wage earners, it means no work, no pay, and hunger. Families wait anxiously, uncertain when normalcy will return. Hospitals stay open, but reaching them is nearly impossible. Emergency services struggle, and those in need face dangerous delays. The tactic is powerful, showing protesters control over the streets and their ability to disrupt the status quo. But it blurs the line between solidarity and fear. Many comply out of self-preservation, not just political conviction. Hartals amplify crises, polarize society, and push the economy to the brink. The uncertainty seeps into every home and business. They're a blunt instrument, effective at grabbing attention, but devastating for ordinary people who bear the brunt of the disruption. In Bangladesh, the hartal is both a weapon and a wound, demanding a better future while making the present almost unbearable for many. It's the paradox at the heart of protest, a fight for change that comes at a heavy cost. Just as Bangladesh seemed to stabilize, an assassin's bullet shattered hope. Sharif Osman Hadi, a charismatic youth leader and symbol of the student uprising, was gunned down in Dhaka. His death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a message. The old, violent political culture was alive and ruthless. Hadi's struggle for life became a national vigil. His death, a rallying cry. He was a new kind of leader, not born of dynasty but of activism, and his anti-India stance resonated with many. His assassination created a martyr, reigniting fury and fear that progress could be undone in an instant. In Bangladesh, one act of violence can set the entire nation ablaze. Hadi's death unleashed a firestorm. Grief turned to rage as thousands flooded the streets, targeting symbols of the old regime and foreign influence. Violence spread beyond Dhaka. Indian diplomatic missions were attacked, highways blocked, cities isolated. The interim government declared mourning, but curfews and security forces couldn't contain the chaos. The streets became battlegrounds, the cycle of violence returning with new intensity. The assassination shattered any illusion of stability, exposing deep divisions. The government was trapped. Restore order without repeating past brutality or risk losing control. With every clash, the hope for a peaceful future slipped further away. Behind the headlines, ordinary Bangladeshis bear the brunt of unrest. Students lose their education as universities close and futures stall. Workers and business owners face economic ruin. Hartals paralyze the economy, factories shut, incomes vanish. Fear and uncertainty seep into daily life. Even a trip to the market feels dangerous. Minorities are especially vulnerable as instability empowers extremists. Exhaustion sets in. People crave change, but also stability and safety. The true cost isn't just lost lives or income, but the erosion of hope and trust. Amid chaos, a digital battle rages. Social media is the protesters' command center, organizing rallies, sharing real-time updates, exposing brutality. Citizen-shot videos galvanize public opinion and draw global attention, but the same platforms spread rumors, fake news, and incite violence. Truth and propaganda blur, making manipulation easy and trust scarce. The government fights back online, tracking activists and flooding feeds with counter-narratives. Social media is both a tool of liberation and a weapon of control. In Bangladesh, every post can spark hope or fear. The unrest is a high-stakes political chess game. Old parties scramble to adapt as youth-driven movements dominate. The Awami League is sidelined but threatens a return to street politics. The BNP eyes a comeback but must win over skeptical youth. Anti-India sentiment surges, fueling attacks on diplomatic missions and complicating regional ties. India watches nervously, while Bangladesh's interim government juggles domestic and diplomatic crises. Student leaders struggle to turn street power into electoral success. With elections looming, every move could decide the fate of Bangladesh's democracy. Bangladesh stands at a crossroads. Can protest lead to lasting change? The student movement toppled a government, but chaos and division remain. The challenge: rebuild a stronger, more just system without repeating past mistakes. The government must balance order and freedom, enforcing law without crushing dissent. Unresolved grievances fueled this crisis. Ignoring public discontent only makes explosions more likely. Bangladesh's struggle is a global lesson. Ordinary people can challenge power, but forging unity after upheaval is the hardest task. The world watches, hoping this nation born from struggle can find its way back to freedom.